Please welcome to the stage, Ellen Bradley Ganus!
How you doing, Arizona? Oh, wow. It's been a long time since I've been up here. Can I tell you, I still get so nervous 24 years later. And you know why? I get nervous because I want you to get it. I want to make sure that I'm up here, not just talking, but giving you actionable steps that you can take home. Because I remember when I was sitting in the audience, and I had never been in network marketing, and I thought, oh, I could never do this. I remember that feeling. And if you only knew what I knew now, you would never sleep again. Seriously, the opportunity that is in front of us right now is so massive. And for all of the leaders in the room that have been here a long time, we've seen it all. We've been through the highs, we've been through the lows. And truth be told, we're in a time of transition, and it's okay. Because the only constant in life is what? Change. So it's up to us, isn't it? And when I looked around that room and I saw everybody's light, can we give it up for the amazing trainers that have trained today? When I saw the light around the room, it gave me hope. I was like, this community is still real. And we have such an incredible product line. And we have such a supportive corporate team. And we have a compensation plan that is the best in the industry. Do you guys get that? See, once upon a time, we had a $10 PIB and 110 9-day. That was it. I would work for 3-4 months for $40, and they would say, keep going, and I would be like, oh my God, this is never gonna happen. So right now, why I'm excited about this piece is because there's so much money on the front end, but the only way for you to get it is to do what? Is to personally enroll. So we used to wait for the back end to grow, have a little bit on the front end, and then look forward to the residual income, which we still do. But how glorious is it that we can say to somebody, do you want cash today? We need money now. But the only way to get it is not to only lead your team, it's to get into action and close. Why is it that people are so afraid to close? Maybe it's because they feel what I'm suggesting isn't right, the person's gonna hate me, what if I then get rejected? That's just a story. And it's up to you to change that story, and as soon as you do, change happens like that. So we all need to be enrolling, and we have to let go of the fear of the close. But what I want to teach you today, in preparation for what's more tactical towards the end, I want to teach you that the way in which you show up predicts the success of the yes or the rejection of the no. We have to take responsibility for the energy that we bring, because what goes out comes right back. Have you ever walked in a room and if somebody had a fight, even if the fight is over, you could feel it hanging in the air? Well, it's the same thing when you're in a conversation about isogenics. People can feel where you've been, how you're showing up, if you're genuine. And let's face it, we have a lot of challenges in the world today that center around relationships. Would you agree? We've got polarity everywhere, this side, that side. We've got broken families, marriages, friendships, businesses. It's a lot. Prior to this political upheaval, we were challenged with just the demons inside of ourselves. Now we have our own stuff to deal with, but we've also got so much conflict in the outside world. So it's a new time for many of us, and we're trying to process. So I have found that there are about 6 characteristics that I'm going to go over with you. And I want you to think about the successful closing takes place in the opening, before you close. So there are 6 characteristics that I would say are very important to master the art of connection, which we've heard throughout the day. What is it about? It's about trust, it's about safety, it's about confidence, it's about certainty. These are all the things that move people from a maybe to a yes. So let's go over the first one. Now, I don't want you to laugh at me. You're gonna be like, oh my God, this is so simple. It's really not. It's really not. And the first characteristic is empathy. So what would happen if in your mind, in your heart, in your spirit, you said, I am going to own this belief that everyone is unique and I have respect for their worth and their value. Can you imagine if silently on your heart, you just wore that every day? Empathy at its core is understanding what people feel and why they feel that way. It's not the music, it's not the words that they say, it's the music they play. So, although people will be telling you lots of different things as you go through what I call a discovery process, right? You're going to show genuine curiosity to discover what the person really needs. But the drivers are not the words. It's what's between the words. It's the fear that's holding them back from the decision. It's the procrastination they're anticipating and the fear of failure they don't want to face. When you become really good at reading between the lines and having sensitivity about it, you can address what is a challenge before it comes a hardcore objection. So when you're empathetic, people are not going to perceive you as a salesperson. They're going to perceive you as a helper. So we want everybody to move from this space of a transactional exchange into human connection. It starts with empathy, and it's the cornerstone of building trust. The next characteristic is I am observant. Recognize appearance, possessions, accomplishments, and contributions. Not to judge, not to argue, not to debate, but in order to receive the clues that will help you make the best recommendation for the person that you're speaking with. So people will reveal so much by how they show up, whether they take care of themselves, whether they prioritize their health, are they going to the gym, do they have a positive attitude? These things are very obvious, but sometimes we just miss it. We don't even think about it. We're so planned in our pitch that we miss these clues. So when you're observant, you're picking up on what's going on. When you're observant, it will help you to not overtalk. Because if you're seeing somebody's eyes glazed over, you're going to know you need to pull back, maybe ask a couple of questions. So it's your job to interpret what is coming at you as clues so that you can guide and morph and change and meet the people where they're at. Without observation, you're stuck on your own personal agenda. And as long as you're on your agenda and not theirs, you're not serving and you're not likable. And people are only going to do business with those that they know and like and trust. So observation is very, very important. I am supportive. I honor the beliefs of all people and support their right to have their own ideas and opinions. Imagine that. Now, when you're supportive, you're setting up a relationship in which you're going to be invited to coach. You're going to actually get a response from your text. You're going to actually have a phone call that's picked up. When you support people, they feel cared for. And not only will you be able to support them when it comes to the product, you're going to be building what's potentially a business relationship, learning to then how to support a larger team. So you can't have a business without being supportive. It's a very, very important thing. Number 4, I am tolerant. I treat people fairly and appropriately, even when they don't fit into my social, political, or cultural norms. You know what tolerance really is? Tolerance is giving people the space that they need and supporting them until they make their decision. So, for example, I had 4 people ready to enroll last week. One guy called me up and he said, I've got 3 friends in the hospital. One of them might not make it, and I have to put this whole thing on hold. I was like, okay. I didn't feel rejected. I didn't feel judgmental. I didn't feel angry. I didn't even feel disappointed. I felt concerned. Tolerance is being able to step back emotionally to handle whatever the people are going through with whatever their timetable is, allowing them the comfort and space which they will remember and they will be appreciative for. So remember that a bad salesperson rushes somebody. A tolerant person makes somebody comfortable, and that comfort breeds confidence. And decisions are made when people have clarity, certainty, and confidence. I am just and fair. I set appropriate boundaries, and I aim to keep things in proper perspective. That's a big one, isn't it? You know, someone once asked me, you've been doing this a long time, you've had a lot of success. What's one of the biggest takeaways if you were going to give advice to somebody just starting? And there are so many things, of course, but I said, I think what I had to learn was setting proper boundaries for myself and not spending so much time with the wrong people. Because my heart was so big and I just saw the best in everybody. And our old CEO, Kevin Adams, on a trip in Maui, I'll never forget, he said, Ellen, your greatest problem, your biggest challenge is that you see the best in everyone. And I always thought that was a good thing. But you have to recognize that not everybody deserves your time. So it's not that you want to not see good in people. It's just that you have to recognize the boundaries you set for yourself are going to allow you to free up the time for those that deserve it. Does that make sense? So being just and fair is something that people will remember. It means that when you read the clues from what you're observing and you have empathy and sensitivity for where they're at, you're not necessarily just going to sell them a bigger package because you want a bigger PIB. It's really being comfortable meeting people where they're at. And when people feel that, what do they feel? They feel respected. So even whether or not they make a decision to move forward with you, they're going to remember, that was a really good person. Oh, I'm going to send them a referral. Or if they are getting the product, they're going to be a repeat customer. They're going to be loyal because they're going to feel respected. So being just and fair is very, very important in building long-term relationships. I am compassionate. Well, people don't care what you feel till they feel that you care. So there's a theme throughout all these qualities, but they're all slightly different, and they all add up to the perfect recipe for success. I care enough to set aside my own agenda and step into their shoes with active listening about their challenges so that I may create a safe place for connection and healing. Wow, what an honor. What an honor it is that we get to go on a journey of healing with somebody else, isn't it? Compassion compounds. It has this ripple effect, this triple effect, this compound effect. When you're compassionate, people talk about it. They remember it. It makes a difference. Empathy says, I see how you feel. Compassion says, I got you. It's one thing to listen to somebody's objections and try to fix it, try to change it. It's another to say, let's explore this together. Remember when you said, I don't think I'm going to have enough time? That little echo effect is signaling that you were paying attention to what they were saying. Once again, you're not on your own agenda. You're listening with your 2 ears so that you could respond appropriately, not react offensively. So we always want to lend compassion. It will be remembered, it will serve you, but most of all, the person who is in front of you deserves it. So it's funny, Barbara said the same thing before, and I guess that's one of the themes of today, which is I've learned that people will forget what you said and people will forget what you did, but they will never forget how they made you feel. The great Maya Angelou. You know, I used to think one of the great gifts that we could give people was giving them our experience, was giving them our wisdom, was giving them our knowledge. The greatest thing that we could give people is a feeling that when they leave us, they've been understood. So trust before transaction. The new currency isn't cash. It's connection and it's credibility. And it's credibility beyond the product. It's credibility beyond the company. It's credibility about who you are, how you show up, what you stand for, how you serve. Right? So we have to be able to create value. And it's so easy because what we have is so valuable. You just have to know where to find the information so you can point, click, and share. Isn't that great? You don't really have to know anything. So you'll have to discover, do they like to read? Do they like to listen? Do they like to watch? And then you'll know, do I send a podcast? Do I send a written blog? Do I send a video? You always want to give people what they need for the way in which they take in information. And always remember, with the boundaries that you create, I tell people, hey, you give 50%, I give 50%. You give 100%, I give 150%. But you don't dance, I don't dance. Self-respect and love, you can do it both. So here at Isogenics, we really have an irresistible offer. But just in case you're not positive, let's go over what makes it so cool. Everybody gets a free account. Everybody gets free shipping. Everybody gets a discount on their subscription. And by the way, please be reminded, especially if you're new, you always sign people up with subscription because they're getting a better price. You're setting them up for success, for the maintenance that's going to come. And most importantly, they can always turn it off. They can always turn it back on. They're in charge. With other companies, that's not always true. So people come in with this preconceived notion, oh my gosh, I'm getting locked into something. I'm going to be in a contract. I don't want to do that. So you must remind them our subscription is so user-friendly. You can turn it on, turn it off, but it has so much value for the discounts it's going to give you, plus flat rate shipping on all your future orders. Free coaching, if you choose to engage that way, or if you choose to automate it, that's your choice, your team, you do whatever you want with your business. We have the Kickstart 90. If you're in the window for registration, get your people involved in that. We have so much support through social media. If social media is not your thing, come to an event. We've got the live events. And of course, we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Now you tell me, who could say no to this offer when they're desperately looking for change and they have somebody that cares about them to take them on the journey and they have all these perks to go along with it? I really don't understand how anybody could ever say no. And I don't understand how you can't be so freaking excited that you get to give this to somebody. You know, it strikes me like this. When people say, I had a party and nobody signed up, I'll say to them, well, did you go over the pricing? Did you go over the packages? And they're like, well, no. And I'm like, but why? It's the same thing like if you were gonna go to lunch with a friend and you would say, oh my gosh, there's this great new Italian restaurant in my neighborhood. I can't wait to go there with you. Okay, I'll see you at 2. You don't give them the name and you don't give them the address. What do you think's gonna happen? You get somebody so excited about what is possible and what you're gonna offer them, and then you don't tell them how to get it. It's like going to a dress boutique and then nobody's willing to tell me the price of the dresses. I can't buy it. So I want you to reframe the way you're thinking about closing. I want you to think of it as a super gift, as something that you owe somebody. And that if you don't give it to them, shame on you. Imagine somebody in your life that you shared with that had a major transformation. Had you not shared with them, what would have happened? But you can't bring them aboard unless you tell them what we have and how to get it. That's all closing is. So there are some people that prefer to receive a link, and there are some people that are going to prefer to give you information and have you do all the work, put them in the system. It's really interesting because having kids in their 20s, I understand that the younger generation is just not used to giving their credit card. The one thing about the link for me that I don't like as much, but of course I'll meet people where they're at and do whatever is necessary, is that it just sometimes can slow the process down. Someone can be an absolute yes, but then they get distracted and then the ball's in their court. So one of the little things that I like to do is I'll be like, oh, hey, I saw that you didn't do the cart yet. I'm not really sure if it's going to expire, if you could still do it. Where are you? It gives me another touch point to get in touch with them to find out. But I'll have to be honest, whenever I can take the information, even though it's a little bit more work for me, I'll take it because then I can control it and I can put it in right away and I can get started right away. I'm not waiting, I'm not looking. And I think you have to be able to navigate both and do what's right. So get familiar with sending the carts and also be willing to take the information. Now, let's see. This is really, really important. What is it that you are recommending? From a business perspective, I always want to be doing a 100 QV order, right? It has a lot of value. It plays into everything. But on the other hand, of course, I'll back down and I'll do what's necessary. But I always tell everybody, I like to recommend that when you begin your healing journey, when you begin your process of transformation, I'd like you to begin with a 30-day reset if you're open to it, right? Because I feel from there we can establish new benchmarks, then we can drill in. If you go to the gym, we can get you a gym package. If you want to work on your brain, we can do a brain package. If you want to work on your energy, we can do an energy package. But I like the 30-day to kind of clean sweep the body and just start fresh and see where we're at before we drill into specific things. Now, with the 30-day reset, my favorite way to do it is with the performance protein shakes. Why? I think the high protein is amazing. I think it's necessary. It's the big buzzword today that everybody gets enough protein. I like to recommend 1 gram of protein per body weight. So if they're doing 2 shakes a day, they're getting 72 grams of protein, and they can use their diet around that to fill in the rest. But they're sort of halfway home, or more or less. I also like that when I'm recommending the performance protein shakes, there's fewer options. It's chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry. So it's a little bit less to decide. And then I let them know we have a fabulous bar of so many different flavors that you can play around with as you go down the journey. But for just this first package, we're going to start with vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. Sometimes offering people fewer choices helps them get to a yes quicker because people are just so overwhelmed today. I also like to support the cleanse with bone broth because it gives them something to have in the afternoon, just enough to get them through that tough part of the day. I recommend it like between drinks 3 and 4. So my standard package, 367, 30-day reset, performance protein shakes, and bone broth. Simple, easy, and it produces fantastic results, as you know. Now, let's say that somebody wants to do that, but maybe they're a little bit concerned about the price point. I'm not afraid to back down to a 9-day, but I'm very, very honest. Why? Because I'm just and fair, right? I'm listening to them, not overselling them, but being just and fair means being honest. It means that I say to them, listen, this is a partial pack. Do you like the way I reframe that? It's a partial pack because it's missing the adaptogenic drink that helps regulate the cortisol levels, all those stress hormones, and when stress hormones are released, your immune system goes down, you can't release fat if you're trying to release fat. So it's very important to have our adaptogens. You're not gonna have that. You're also not gonna get our fabulous Isoflush magnesium, which is gonna work on your colon health and your gut health. And I really think that's important because moving through a rapid cleanse, some people have issues and they find that support very helpful. But most importantly, you're gonna have a really big commitment because you're gonna have to commit to 2 days of cleansing in a row because you're not gonna have the flexibility with enough product to do it over the month. So I believe the 30-day is ideal because it gives flexibility. You learn how to use the program as a lifestyle versus a Band-Aid and a quick fix. But you will get the same stupendous results in 9 days that you can do over 30 days doing it slowly. So I'm a huge fan of the 9-day, but I just want to make sure your level of commitment is where it needs to be, because you're not going to have that same flexibility. So be really mindful when you're making your offers to go through these details, because they make a difference. They give people the chance to think about it, to pause, to reflect, while you just give them the space to do so. And then if they come back and say, I'm just not sure, I'm at that level of commitment, I'm kind of nervous about doing a cleanse day. And remember, you can always offer them an overnight cleanse, you can offer them a half-day cleanse. They can always step one toe in the water, because doing a little bit of something is better than doing nothing, right? But let's just say that they're resistant, they don't want to cleanse. My favorite thing, I just back down to 3 performance shakes. And 3 performance shakes is like $189. It's affordable for everybody. It's less than $4 a meal. They're getting 14 meals in every canister. And what it allows them to do is experiment with 1 shake a day, which will be their 36 grams of protein. But they'll have 2 weeks of the month, half the month, to double up. So half the month, they'll get to experience 72 grams of protein. Half the month, and then the rest of the full month, they'll have 1 shake a day. But it's still a 100 QV order. They're still starting with something that they're going to feel, they're going to enjoy, it's going to serve their life, not a lot of dishes to do, help support them in the gym if they're going to the gym. And I also will be able to recommend the 4, as you know, the 4 shakes will be 2 a day, right? A little bit more expensive, it's like $287 or something like that. That's going to give them their ideal 72 grams of protein a day. So playing around with their budget, with the 3 to 4, gets their foot in the door. You have a qualifying order, they have an experience they're comfortable with, and it gets them in the game. So these are the ways that I'm very comfortable starting people. I feel like I'm going to give them a great experience, no matter what they choose, meeting them where they're at. And then from there, in the months that follow, going into maintenance, I really love to focus in on, like I mentioned earlier, brain health, energy, women's health, stress, sleep. And I'm always introducing new products from the entire catalog by trying to create specific experiences that move them month to month through different aspects of wellness. When you close with heart, you don't just build a business, you build belief. And in a world that is short on belief, today that's going to be the greatest gift you can give. So I hope that you will be proud to wear the Isagenix name. I hope you will be brave enough to shine your light when others don't shine theirs and make you feel bad about you shining yours. I hope you will take a stand for the power that you have inside. Whew. Because the world needs us, and we need each other. But I really, really believe we are on the precipice of a brand new momentum in this company and in all of our personal lives. And if you believe that, don't delay, because the time is now. So there's a little poem here that I'm going to read to you. Success is the banner that hangs over my chair. I see it, I read it, I shout it in the air. Can nobody hear me? I mean it this time. A failure? No. Tomorrow, success will be mine. So we hear such a repetitive oration from people who love procrastination. But everyone knows the price they will pay for when tomorrow is here. It will still be today. So you guys, thank you so much. I am so grateful to be in this family. I am here to serve all of you. Message me, find me in the hallway, anything I can do to help you succeed. I remain here always for you.